Can we think about stopping to think of useless thing? Why? Because it's no point of thinking of useless thing. What would happen then? You would dig into a deeper level of something more meaningful. And then you think about it. And when you think about it, you try to think of not useful things. So it's an endless process of coming up with the key issues we may face in life, work, relationship, health, finance, whatever the subject is. So what's most important? That's the question. And if we can find that question and think rationally, we may find the limitation of it too. Because at that point, we cannot think much further. Which means our mind goes empty. Is it worth doing it to the point? Or if the mind is empty, it's no point. Which is better if your mind is empty, which tend to be, I want to call it the state of awareness, state of being, here and now, and no mind or brain functioning. I don't know if you have experienced it, but actually the meditation is try to get to that state. In short, what you do in meditation is, for example, you focus on breathing or bodily sensation, and when the thought pops up, you just let that be. It's like puff of cloud. It may come. If you don't play with it, you don't get tangled up. Then you stay calm. So you learn how to stay calm. You can call it's the state of being, or you being here and now. Or I might say it's the state of your being at home. When you're born, your mind was empty. We started add words, sentences, logic, numbers, all of that. That helps us, but if it's like operating system, you have too much information and you get lost because of the ambiguity of what's more important than others, then you want to clean up your mind. And that's what we are talking about. What's the good way to clean up? And I call it calm and quiet mind. Because that's the point I think we can access. And when you are there, you may learn how to make a decision. Of course, to get there is making decision of this is useful or not, or to the point of thinking it's not useful. Because all the thinking you do may lead nowhere, and that may be our situation, especially when we face a very difficult situation. You get tangled up and you don't go anywhere. So to know that you don't go anywhere, which is a state of useless thinking, that we need to be aware of it. And if we can be aware of it, we stop thinking like that. So at the end, you get to the state of non-thinking, or I call it no mind, or here and now, without any thought, just be. Can we just try that and see if that would do any good in terms of our sanity. If you're not used to it, maybe it's not possible, because it may take some attention to what's going on. I think the key word is attention, paying attention to what is going on, to know what we are thinking, and if it's thinking useless thing, just let it be without making any judgment. Just observe what we are thinking. And the power of meditation is that when we learn that skill, number one, we find peace and calm sense and connection to the root of who we are, instead of all the clouds of the thinking coming and going and not going anywhere. Can we do that? The other option is to get rid of your useless thinking. You start to drink or do the drug. But is it useful? So it's an option. But my preferred approach is trying to connect it to the being of who we are, where the laws of nature can prevail, instead of artificial way of solving the problem. We may want to reach out in a very genuine, sincere, and truthful manner. But for that, we may want to get rid of lots of thinking, useless thinking, to observe if what we are doing in our mind is useful or not. That's also a thinking, you may call it, but only when your mind is calm and quiet, you can do that. So that's a paradox. Because you can say you're thinking because you cannot get to that calm and quiet state. But I'm saying that if you get to the calm and quiet state, you know what you're doing is useful or not. So you can retain that sense of calm and quietness. And if you are comfortable in that state, you may find more creative thought popping up. Just like when you are waking up in the morning and the mind is clear, you see, hear, feel everything fresh, more directly experiencing things as they are. And that's a state, some may call it a zone or a flow state or samadhi in the terms of the meditation or Sanskrit, I believe. And that's a very natural state when the mind is not developing the waves. But we are at the core of being without the disruption of the thought. What happens then is to be experienced, but that's the state we may realize the creative thought, ideas, wisdom can pop up. So maybe we'll stop here and try it out. And you may find if it's meaningful or not. But instead of using the mind to decide, let's try it out. Thank you.